In today's day and age, and especially in the past few months, all of the buzz has been about artificial intelligence. And while AI is certainly very new and very exciting and has some really awesome opportunities that are going to come towards us in the very near future, it's important that we don't forget about the basics. Now, I'm definitely not saying to ignore AI because I think AI is going to be incredibly valuable within our space. So I would encourage everyone to learn about it now because I think the people who know AI will have a leg up on people who don't in the near future. But I do think if we can learn to use it in tandem with some of the old traditional practices, it will be the best way to design in the future. So before you write me off as old school, hear me out. Drawing is absolutely amazing for a few different reasons. The first is that what drawing can teach you about yourself and about the field of design is incredibly early to learn early on. Because through the process of sketching, you're gonna learn so much about how you work and how you convey your ideas from your head onto the space and different ways that you will go about and how some people will take in that information as opposed to what your idea was in your head. So through this process, you're gonna have a much better understanding of where the holes are in some of your logic and where the holes are in some of your representation styles and how you can improve upon to make sure that whoever is looking at your information will take away exactly what you had intended in your mind. Another thing that it teaches you is the iterative process. And that is essentially design in a nutshell. So drawing is going to help amplify and help teach you about that process. So this is going to teach you all about patience, persistence, and repetition because with drawing anything that's a motor skill, the more you can practice it and the more you can do it, the better refined your drawings will get and the better you'll be at doing it. And this very much applies to design as well because if you'll notice, the more time you can spend on design, the better the outcome will be because you'll have that chance to refine things, test things out, go in different directions, and you'll really get to evolve through this process. So this natural relationship that drawing has to design, I think is incredibly useful in definitely the early phases of design. Certainly in the exploratory phases, it's really quick, it's very iterative, and helps generate some simple ideas. It doesn't need to be very complex like master plans and spending 18 hours on a master plan drawing anymore. I think we can move on from that. But I think in terms of fundamental, simple sketches or conveying ideas, it's going to be very useful to still have in your arsenal. And on that note, being able to convey ideas very quickly on a simple sketch within a minute, 2 minutes is an incredibly valuable skill that will never, ever, ever go away in our profession. This skill can lead to a ton of opportunities, but most importantly, it leads to a level of fast collaboration that you couldn't get otherwise. You're gonna be able to develop relationships much faster, and it's gonna help give yourself an opportunity or a leg up in many different scenarios by being able to just talk about an idea, maybe roughly sketch it out, show it to someone, they agree on it, you go back, all of a sudden you have this new project you're working on. Just like that, it can be that simple sometimes. And not to mention, it's kind of becoming a lost art in a sense. So it's always a great impression to make if someone sees you sketching or something like that. It just always kind of sets you apart a little bit. Now, I certainly could keep going on this topic about how drawing is so great and why you need to still be drawing, but I thought I would share my story because drawing is very intimidating and using some of these programs like CAD, Midjourney, DALL-E, or Photoshop can be very encouraging to use because drawing can be so difficult and so technical as opposed to the others. So I figured let's talk about how I finally got into drawing. Because for me, I always have struggled to want to draw by hand. I just wasn't very good at it. I didn't seem to be getting much improvement through different exercises. I tried sketching daily for months or different prompts or whatnot. And certainly I improved a little bit, but never felt like I want to draw, I want to do this and make it a hobby. It wasn't until that I got an iPad and started playing around on there with some of their apps and found one of the apps I really liked that I really started to use this in my daily workflow. And as many of you will know if you follow my channel, the app that I really like using and has changed the game for me has been Morpholio Trace, and that's really just due to their kind of tool set and interface that they have. One of the reasons why I think I like it so much is it's very similar to a Adobe software where it has layers, it has different tools, it has different brushes and filters and things that you can all apply within that app, but you're able to do all of it by hand, so it feels like you're sketching and you're getting the same sense of sketch through the Apple Pencil. And there's some really incredible built-in features that come with the app that for me have really changed the game and have made me really enjoy sketching. One of those, of course, is the stencil library. I think it comes default with a lot of different stencils, but what's even better is you can make your own stencils that you've drawn and save them so that you can draw really fast, you have your own style, and you're still sketching, but you can repeat things and do all these different things very quickly, which is very appealing for me personally when drawing. Also, they have a magic select tool, which is very much like Photoshop or CAD, which allows me to make adjustments or change specific things without having to do a bunch of erasing and, messing up the drawing or restarting because I screwed up an area, which was always a big fear for me when I was drawing. And the last one I'll quickly share that I really like and have appreciated is the fact that it has a very intensive color library and you can choose from any color you want, which is great from just a literal sense, but practically it's really great because I never had, the money to afford all these different colors, all these different options. So it's all built in here and it allows me to do any type of color rendering I'm interested in. Now, this certainly isn't a promo to go use Morpholio Trace, but what I'm just trying to say here is that there are tons of new options nowadays that still keep the same traditions in terms of drawing sense, but there are many different mediums now to achieve it in. So if you're someone who wants to learn to draw or to be more consistent with drawing, you're struggling to be consistent, or you just want to improve daily, I really think you should explore the medium in which you're drawing with. I think it's a very underrated thing, and until I started to play around with other forms of medium, then I really found my way into this hobby. Before that, I struggled to be consistent. I just didn't want to draw, and I think part of this hobby and part of this profession in drawing is you want to do it. So explore a medium, find what you like. If you don't like it, go to something new and keep going until you find something you like. If you'd like to see how I sketch and some examples of how I use sketching in my daily workflow, be sure to check out my channel. I have some tutorials and just some basic concepts of how I have used this app and how I like to draw. But that is all for me today, so I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and also subscribe and check out the channel if you haven't already. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.